Last night, one of the largest monsoon storms of the year rolled across southern Arizona. The radar looked insane. They called it a monsoon blob. Lightning was constant, roads flooded, power poles snapped all throughout the community, and trees came down. And this morning, I want to walk my food forest with you and show you the extent of my damage. I fared out a lot better than other people in the community. But storms like this remind us that nature doesn't care how prepared we think we are. It also teaches us that we should really be mindful of designing resilient landscapes. So come on in and let's go for a walk. The storm developed south of Tucson and just kept growing. By evening, it'd become one massive complex stretching across much of southern Arizona and pretty deep into Mexico. The lightning was almost non-stop. Heavy rain, strong wind, the kind of storm where you know something is going to break. Throughout the community, there were countless flooded roads. Several vehicles became trapped after water rose far faster than expected. Many people are also trapped on their roads, not able to leave. It only takes a surprisingly small amount of moving water to make driving dangerous. So this is exactly why it's worth waiting for floodwaters to recede instead of trying to push through. The wind was so strong, it snapped multiple utility poles. Entire sections of power lines ended up on the ground. Thankfully, everyone stayed clear until crews could respond. You can really appreciate the force of the storm when you see a wooden pole snap apart like this. I didn't get away untouched. This massive limb broke during last night's storm. Had another one right here from this Chinaberry tree. It was a mature, full, beautiful Chinaberry tree. Now it's only half of what it used to be. It almost snapped this little purple plum that I have growing here. This massive branch here came down and the purple plum was almost sideways. So I moved this branch away, allowed the plum to resume its stance that it scathed perfectly fine last night, luckily. The southern wall of my house, I have some moringa trees that are shading my bananas. Unfortunately, this moringa just snapped and just lays on the ground. You can see right here, it just snapped right from the base of the trunk. So it looks like my goats are gonna eat good today. Not too big of a deal, but my shade structure took a little bit of a pounding last night. Easy fix. Well, my swells didn't hold and the rivers came down my driveway as they used to always do. As you can see, pretty much rutted up my driveway leading to my gate, both sides of my yard. So it just goes to show you how fast the moving water was. This is probably the biggest issue that occurred here. This 20-foot Palo Verde fell last night. Just toppled right over. I have a little potted display there that came down with it, as well as my giant mission cactus. As you can see, just toppled right over. And it's actually squishing my little jujube I've got growing right under there. So the mission in order for the day is to get this chopped up and to get this pile put over with all of my other limbs so I can make some biochar down the road. Nothing here gets wasted. Everything gets used. That's a pretty large tree to get chopped up. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with the giant mission, if I can salvage that. Probably plant something else in this place. I'm not sure how visible this is, but that jujube is just totally squashed under there. I'm not sure if I can salvage that or not. This little jujube got spared by the inch of its chinny chin chin. We're inside of the new food forest that I've made this year. My little dog house. This used to be my turkey pen. Everything in here seems to be just fine, except for the doghouse got blown halfway across the pen. But besides that, everything in here is doing pretty good. Growing like weeds. Here we are back by my swells. You can see my goat structure took some damage, the upper portion. So I'm gonna have to try to fix that. Luckily it didn't come down. That wouldn't have been good. But really not a whole lot of damage elsewhere. Really muddy back here. But on the brighter side, I have full swales. I have a full pond, which will be able to soak down. Too bad I couldn't get these swells in action, but you can definitely see they're right full. I've seen some frogs in them already. Let's go ahead and take a look at that back one. So these swells actually protect my driveways on either side of my property. The one that I showed you was already rutted. So these swells overflowed and they actually flooded out my driveways despite the enormity of these swells. That was my primary purpose on constructing these, was to prevent what happened, but with just the massive water flow, they just overflowed. This one here is about 180 feet long, about 4 feet wide, a couple feet deep. That one's about 130 feet long, 4 feet wide, a couple feet deep. And then when they overflow, they flow into the pond. The pond's right full. And so you can see when this one fills up, it's got 3 overflows. And it just flowed right into this. Once that swell overflowed and the pond filled, it had nowhere to go but to the side. And then it eventually flooded out my goat area and then down my driveway, as I showed you. What do you guys think? Did you make it? Everybody okay? Hey, Coco! As you can see, it just totally muddied up their area around their feeder, which they don't like the mud, but that can't be helped. And then all their muck actually flowed near the gate over there, just all piled up around the gate, so I'm gonna have to get that cleared up. And then the same thing over here. I've got another gate by these pens, and all the mulch that was back here just got all piled up. So here's the other side where it just runs all the way down this driveway, all the way down there. As you can see, all this mulch is just piled up by the gate, so I'll have to get that cleared out so I can open this gate freely. Chickens seem to be doing just fine. No damage whatsoever to either chicken run. The grape arbor is tweaked. If it wasn't for the T-posts that I have on either side, it would have probably come down. So I'll have to see if I can re-straighten up the sides, but it's definitely bent in on either side and is no longer completely stable, so I'll have to address that in some means. Not too big of a deal, but the top of this pool case totally flew off and broke. So I'm not sure if I can fix that or not, or just put the top back on, but it shows you the winds. A couple barrels tipped over. Here's the other side of my drive, just completely muddy, just caked mud right here. I don't even want to walk through it, but it just goes out that part of my property over there. It's just totally yucky this morning. So as I said, I fared out a lot better than other people in the community. Just thankfully, I didn't get completely flooded out. But I really think those swales helped out tremendously, holding back a large portion of the water. I very well could have flooded out more intensely either side of my property line. And so I'm thankful I've got the swales. That was the primary purpose of building the swales. I've taken some flack over the years showing my swales and how barren they are, and why people say that I'm wasting them by not planting into them and having goats back there. But as you can see, my swales probably saved me last night. And overall, I'm very grateful to have fared as well as I have through the storm. I can handle a down moringa. I can handle a couple large limbs of my China berry, and I'll just process them down, feed the moringa to my goats, use the China berry leaves as mulch, and maybe even chip some of them up into mulch, and then use the branches and trunks as biochar. So that's my plans. I just wanted to show you the aftermath of the monsoon. It was a pretty crazy monsoon, probably the strongest I've seen in the last 5 years or so, maybe even better. Very strong, intense storm. But I fared through, and my landscape's very resilient and did very well. So hey, thanks for stopping in today. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you like natural farming or permaculture centric videos, I invite you to subscribe. And until next time, green thumbs, God bless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.